Welcome to another edition of Swim Easy Speed. Today we're going to look at, this was a submission on Reddit. A guy did a 50 free, wanted some analysis of his 50 free and how to make it faster. I thought it was pretty interesting because I usually work with triathletes, and I started out as a competitive swimmer and a sprinter. So wanted to go over this and just kind of take it. So what I'm going to do is just let this play out. You can see all the data on the bottom. That's basically how long he's underwater, how many strokes he takes per 25, what his time is per 25, and, we'll be able to kind of dig into the data and get a little bit of explanation of where I think he could probably improve fairly quickly. So here's the beginning. Okay, so when we're looking at this, we're going to just break it down into the start, the underwater, and then the breakout, the first part of the 25, the turn, the underwater, the breakout, and then the finish. So if we're going through, he's got a pretty decent start. He's got his foot back. He could probably get that foot if he pushed off a little bit more. That would kick the last foot on there a little bit up a little bit more. He'd probably be able to come in at a little bit of a steeper angle, maybe angle the water a little bit better. You get a little bit more leverage on the water. We're going underwater. He's got, let's see what we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dolphin kicks. Let's see, we get a 6th, 7th, and then the breakout. And so what we want to look at, so we're taking 1, 2, 3 strokes basically before you get to the 15-meter mark. I'm assuming that's the 15-meter mark. There's the little red mark on the lane line. So you've taken 3 strokes before you even get to the 15-meter mark, when you could go all the way underwater there. I mean, definitely you need to work on your underwater dolphin kick a little bit, because it doesn't look like you're getting a ton of propulsion out of it. It looks very just kind of downward. There didn't look like there was a lot of upward to the kick. So I think that's probably one area where he could work on to get a little bit more propulsion. Because look, the fastest you're going to be all day is off the blocks, diving into the water, the underwater dolphin kick, and then off the turn. Those are the places where you're going to be fastest. When you're swimming on top of the water is when you're typically the slowest. So when we look at, we go through here, it looks like, the tempo's somewhere between like 1 to 1.2, basically. It looks a little irregular. You took 10 strokes. He took 10 strokes on the first 25, and his, split was 11.2. I think probably and we took, let's see, there's 1 breath, 2 breaths. It looked a little late. And then the turn. And, I think that he could probably definitely take less breaths than he is. Every time you open up to take a breath, it's 3 to 4% increase in drag. And, when we're going, it looks like he's going about a 23. That's a lot. It's going to add up quickly. So, if he could work on taking fewer breaths, potentially really on the first 25. Now he's going to have to work up to that, but that would probably do him. He'd see an immediate bump in speed right there. The other thing is, I think it's on the back half here, so we'll go back. Here's the underwater. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of like we'll call it 3.5, and then the breakout. So it looks like, he was about 5.74 yards on the underwater. And again, you can go to that 15-meter mark. Now, It's going to be a lot harder on the second half of the race, but definitely he needs to work on those underwater dolphin kicks. So then we got one breath there. Let's see where the second one is. I think he's got a second one near the finish. Yeah, there's the second one, right around the 15-meter mark. So, and then it looks like his tempo's staying about the same. It might actually be speeding up a little bit, but I think that's just because he's slipping a little bit more water. He's getting kind of tired. And then you can see kind of the kick tends to be, it looks like it's kind of dying a little bit on this second half. So, one of the things that you could do would be work the kick more. Because remember, the kick is what's going to drive the tempo of the stroke. And certainly within a 50 free, you can put enough propulsion in the kick where it's going to make it where you're going to be up on the water a little bit more. It's going to reduce drag. It's going to keep you more stable, allow you to you'll be able to couple the hips and shoulders together to get even more pressure on your hands to pull. So that would be kind of some of the stuff that we'd look at, because on the way back, he took 18 strokes. So we almost doubled the amount of strokes on the back half of the race. And let's see if we'll go here. And then we're talking about the finish. He breathes, last breaths around the 15-meter mark, so a little bit less than 10 yards to the finish. And he does a good job of, not breathing to the finish, but you can see kind of how his body's almost leaning back a little bit. The head's a lot higher. The hips are starting to drop a little bit. He's getting tired. Probably looking forward at the wall. So that's going to put a little bit of downward pressure on that back end. So, that would be my analysis for his 50 free. But, it looks pretty good, and I wish him all the best. But as always, thank you for tuning in. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. And I hope to see you in the pool soon.